It's Smash Summit, the very first Beyond the Summit Smash event in the brand new house. And I'm sitting here with Lucky. Say what's up, Lucky.
What's up, everybody? Well,
We got to share the microphone. It's a whole thing. We got to.
talk to the camera.
Yeah, that too. So listen, Lucky has been kind enough to share some of his time, and I'm going to start off with the question that I've wanted to ask, and like I wrote it down, I crossed it out, and I wrote it down again. But can you take us on a tour of maybe just a couple of your tattoos?
Oh,
Will you just
yeah,
tell us what's
I
up?
remember it all.
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see. This one on my left arm. How do I aim this at the camera?
Yeah, we can see it.
This is a pretty much a skull ripping out of like a picture. It's Tony Hawk's like first sponsor technically when he was I think 15 years old or whatever. He got sponsored by a company named the Bones Brigade that was owned by like Powell Skates, and this is probably my favorite tattoo by far since I actually got it as like a memento to my brother who passed away when I want to say 8 years old, and one of the few things I remember is he would sit me down and make me watch that tape of Tony Hawk's sponsor video. I think it's on Netflix too. It's just like the Bones Brigade trying to find Animal Chin, and it's like one of the most important things to me by far. I know when I was maybe like 14, I wanted to get it, and I told myself if I wanted it by the time I was 18, 21, I would get it, and all those years passed, and I wanted it really badly, so I got it. Secondly, not as important yet, but I'm a huge craft beer fan. This actual tattoo here is one of the labels from Stone Brewing Company out of San Diego. It was like their anniversary ale, and I love the art, I love the beer, so it's probably one of the biggest passions I have in my life, craft beer, in terms of drinking, in terms of hunting beers down because it's so hard to find stuff. It's going to be a future career of mine for sure. I'll make it a career one way or another, so craft beer is huge to me. And then the last one is pretty much Dante's Sword from Devil May Cry, one of my favorite games of all time. So it's 3 tattoos I have for now.
Nice, fantastic answer. True story. I went to a beer store where I grew up, and I hunted down a Stone beer because of you and tweeting about it. So
Yeah.
that's word of mouth, So that's really cool. That's really cool, man. So this leads me to I want to talk about the sponsor hunt.
Yeah.
Okay, because I mean it would be fantastic if Stone or some other passion company of yours sponsored you, right? So maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. But I want to know, what has the hunt been like? Have you turned down offers that didn't suit your needs? And what's your ideal sponsor?
The hunt itself, I wouldn't necessarily say I've done much work on the hunt. I don't want to say I've been lazy on it, but I've been kind of waiting for myself to just make a splash in the scene where everyone has their attention on me before I go asking, companies. I've had opportunities that I could have, and I didn't. I slipped up a couple times. So I want to say it's been a lazy hunt at the very least. I have maybe turned down about 10 separate offers, I want to say, in the last year or two. Most of them were companies that were very new, companies I hadn't heard of. The biggest one I think I was approached by was Winter Fox, who I had no idea who they were. I actually checked out their website. It looked not the best. And me with no information on them, I just assumed, okay, this is like a small team too. And when I found out who they were, I kind of beat myself up about that. But, they picked up a good player anyways, so shout outs to Shrooms. As far as Stone Brewing goes, I have been exchanging emails with them. It's very unlikely we can work out a sponsorship, but we have worked out a partnership, I want to say. As far as I know, the company is actually sending me some merchandise to wear on stream whenever I want. Beers to sample, beers to try, drink on my stream. So shout out to Stone Brewing Company in San Diego. Oh, I love that company. Yeah. So yeah, they're going to be sending me stuff. I'm going to be, repping them pretty hard on streams until I get a sponsor. The best part about it is, it's a partnership, just kind of like you help me out, I'll help you out. So it's no contract. I'm not actually going to be sponsored by them, but I'm going to be repping them as hard as I can until I do find a proper sponsor. As far as the ideal sponsor goes, I myself would love to be sponsored by a team that already has a player on it. So like maybe I can work out like a team type of thing. Pew Pew is one of the main ones that comes to mind just because he lives in Northern California. He loves teams. Although he has a diehard partner, that's fat, so I don't know if that would work. Cloud9, for obvious reasons. Mango, my oldest, or longest best friend, I should say. Yeah. I would love to be sponsored by them. But my all-time personal favorite sponsor would definitely be Evil Geniuses. I love that company. I've followed the fighting game community for 5-6 years, I want to say. I'm a huge fan of the players that they have on their roster already. I'm a huge fan of Dr. PP, PPMD. So, I mean, if I could ever get in contact with them, make something work, I'd probably be like my dream team, honestly.
Wow. So you've thought about this. That was quite an in-depth answer. Thank you. I, um, moving on in a kind of similar direction. I like to think of you as our ambassador sometimes. I see we send you to Australia and to London. Forgive me if I'm missing some, but you represent us well. You relate well to folks, and you're friendly and you're warm. So I like that. Is ambassador a role that you would embrace? Do you think that's fair at all? Am I on the mark?
I wouldn't say ambassador. I've been calling myself the people's champ for a while now. No offense to Scar, but he's always saying the people choose their champion. And I think the people are a pretty big fan of me for one reason or another. I think being good friends with Mango helps a lot. I get a lot of exposure thanks to him. People would probably like to see Mango a lot of places. I would imagine they ask him before me a lot of times. And Mango's not very interested in traveling at the moment, so they go to me. And I'm more than happy to go out, talk about Mango, talk about myself. And, you know, like you said, people seem to get along with me well. I mean, I'm an interesting dude. I'm not very simple. I cover a lot of different aspects of personalities, I want to say. I'm a drinker. I love craft beer. I love just partying with, you know, lesser beers, video games, anime, movies, music, you know. So it's not like I'm the ambassador, but like I said, I would say people's champ, if anything. People just like being around me.
Okay, very cool. Let's not get into a debate about top six or goat or boat, as it were. But let me just ask you this. What do you think is the measure of a good smasher? So when we do play those games, what are you measuring? Because there's so many different ways you could talk about it. But when someone asks you, Lucky, who's good? Let's say an outsider asked you, how do you measure a smasher?
Personally, I think it comes down to a lot of things. For me personally, being a Fox player, I know tournament results are important, but I feel like potential is more important to me. And I don't want to say that just because my results haven't always been to my full potential, but it's kind of true. I know what it's like to be a Fox player. I know what it's like to be just a tournament player where you can't always play your best because of the nerves. I know nerves comes in, you know, to play when it comes to being a competitive player, but whenever I look at a player, I tend to look at their tendencies. I like to see them play in friendlies where they're more comfortable so you can see what they do, how they adapt, and stuff like that. Results aren't always that important to me in deciding who is the best or not the best in terms of who's that good or not that good. So I like seeing a player as comfortable as possible, seeing what they can do, what they can't do, and that's usually how I decide, which is a lot harder to do because you only see what's on stream, what's in tournament, you know, and it's harder to find out who's that good until you kind of sit down with them and watch them play just at home or at like a very comfortable location. So that's the best answer I probably could give.
That's a great answer. And it's interesting because it's consistent with what another player said about you in a previous interview and your approach to Smash. And it's fascinating. Switching gears, your hypothetical situation, you're about to play 11, winners finals, let's call it. You can give your controller a beer. Like your controller can drink a beer. What beer do you give your controller?
It's like a spoiler to the new Smash documentary if they put this in. There's a beer by Avery Brewing Co. I think they're out of Colorado. It's called Uncle Jacob's. It's an imperial Russian stout, I believe, barrel aged in barrels of bourbon. It ranges from like 17 to 19%. When I was interviewed for the next documentary, they asked me what it tasted like, and I told them it tasted exactly like when I was on stage at Big House 4, and I had 500 people cheering for me. I love that beer. I can't even speak of enough. I could drink that beer probably for like an hour and a half just by smelling it, and it's one of those beers where if it gets like to room temperature, it's still amazing. If anything, it gets better. So look up Uncle Jacob's by Avery Brewing Co. It's amazing, dude.
Done. I'll do that. Okay, so you've still got practicing to do. You still got to win this tournament. So we're just about going to wrap up. But we're going to do a speed run, all right? All right. We're going to speed run. I'm going to run through 8 questions, and you're just going to give me your gut reaction, okay? We're going to see how you do. Lucky, speed run, Smash Summit. Number 1, Appies or Zerts? I get that reaction a lot. That's all right. Okay. Number 1, mountains or ocean?
Ocean.
GG's or Pop-Off?
GG's.
Frozen or Tangled?
Lion King.
I like it. What year was Melee released?
It doesn't matter. It's
Who was your first main?
Link,
Who's the best Smasher of all time?
the Batman.
Who's going to win this weekend?
Mango.
All right. Smash Summit, Lucky, thank you for watching. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.